Joys of having a big stove like the Clock Blithfield 5 is the Clock Blithfield 5. Is it the best stove on the market? Let's find out. So ever since I've been doing these videos, I've had a lot of questions about the Clock Blithfield 5 and is it the best stove on the market? Well, I don't really know if it's the best stove on the market, but let me tell you how I found it this winter. So I've been burning on this stove all winter non-stop, probably 10-20 hours a day. I would say 15-18 hours on average every single day for the last 6 months pretty much. And let's just get one thing straight, it hasn't let me down once in that time. I think it's a very good stove and it's probably one of the best on the market, I would say, based on what I've read. And I'm kind of I'm very into it now, like the log burners and everything, and I do read a lot. And it is probably one of the best stoves on the market. So I think, let me just turn that down ever so slightly there. What attracted me to this stove originally was the fact that it can burn up to 8 or 9 kilowatts. Now, what I really wanted from a stove was something to really burn really hot when I wanted it to, but just tick away in the background when I wanted it to as well. And this stove does all of those things fantastically. So not only does it look fantastic, it's built like a tank. It weighs 120 kilos or so. And I just think it's a perfect all-rounder for anyone. Now, it's not cheap. It does come in at £1,500 or thereabouts. And I think in the UK, that's what you got to pay for one of the top stoves on the market. So any of the best stoves on the market cost over £1,000. And when I say best, I mean, the best quality, they burn the best, they got all of the ticks in terms of DEFRA approved and all the eco-friendly and all the stuff that comes with it. But this one is special really, I think, because it can hold a lot of fuel. It's a multi-fuel as well. It burns really hot, it burns really consistently. The air vents, it's really praised, in the communities for the air vents basically. They're very sensitive. So, for example, if I was just to open them like this, I'll just open the pair of them now, give it a couple of seconds, and we'll see what happens in there. And you'll just see it erupt basically into kind of a mass amount of flames, and it is very reactive, which is kind of what we want. And I think it's very user friendly too. I think for somebody who is not let's say you just bought a stove, you could pretty much work this out straight away. You don't have to be messing around with vents that are a bit tricky to mess about with. These are very sensitive in terms of how they react when you shut them down, when you open them up, which is really a really nice part of it, I think. And I just think overall, I think it's a very good package. The joys of having a big stove like the Clock Blithfield 5 is you get to collect wood pretty much every week, and it takes some big pieces of wood too, so you don't really have to cut them as small as you generally would. So something like that will pretty much fit in there, and normally you would probably have to cut it up if you had a slightly smaller stove. So having a big stove is a good and a bad thing, because it means you're going to be burning more fuel and bigger fuel to be warmer, but you're going to be going through a lot more fuel just due to the amount that you can put in at any one time, which I don't see as a negative personally, but something to keep in mind definitely. So now the spring has come, it is time for us to clear this room out and really get going with this little project of ours. So we're going to have a little workbench over there for all our kindling station. This is where all the wood's going to be. We've got to concrete the floor, we've got to get rid of all this stuff. This is all we have left now for wood. So we've got probably 2 or 3 barrows left. We've got 2 bags of coal there. And this has taken us This has done us well actually this winter, I'll be honest. It's been a godsend having this kind of space where everything stays nice and dry and you can just come in here, chop a bit of wood up. It's been perfect really, I've been really enjoying it. I don't know if you could pick that up, but it's 25.5 in here, which is quite hot. So if you'd like to see me using this stove a bit more in terms of how I set it up differently every time, whether I'm using coal, wood, briquettes, or whatever I'm using in that particular day. So check out my videos because I go through a little bit more of how I'm setting it up, how I'm messing with the valves, how I'm, you know, adjusting things as I go along, and you'll see that a bit more in depth. I don't want to bore you with that kind of stuff here. But I think this stove will probably last the test of time. You know, it's built like a tank. It kicks out some serious heat. It looks really, really good as well in the room. I get loads of really good comments in the comment section. And, you know, when people come to the house, they really love the stove. You know, they're kind of blown away by it, really. It does look, and in person, obviously on the camera it probably looks decent. But in person, it does actually look a lot better than it does on camera for some reason. Because you can see all the three, you know, you can see it all, like, you know. But overall, I can't fault the stove, guys. I think if you're really looking into getting one installed this spring, summertime now, ready for the winter, get it installed, let me know how it goes, and then get stocking up with the wood. We've been through, what have we been through this winter? We've been through about 5 or 6 ton of stuff. So this, just imagine this burner has burned through 6 ton of stuff in one winter, and it's been on non-stop for the best part of 4 to 6 months, I would say. So, and it's still going super strong now. So you can't fault it really at that point. You know, I think it's done what it's supposed to do, and it looks brand new. You know, I get a lot of comments in the comment section saying, "Hey, how do you keep it so clean?" Well, I don't really do a lot. I do maintain it every week in terms of clean the glass and just give it a wipe over with water. I don't spray it with any chemicals. But yeah, it just looks brand new. You know, and think about it, it's been, how many hours has it been burning? You know, I don't know, what's that? Let's say 15 hours a day for 6 months. It's a long time, isn't it, you know? So yeah, so it's coming up to the end of summer now, or end of winter year. So we'll be doing a bit more in the garden at some point. You know, I've started to get some stuff ready, like we got slabs to go down, and we've got the log store as well. That's a bit of a project as well. We've got the allotment thing at the back as well. I got a fair bit going on this year. But we will get to them when we get to them. And I'd just like to say thanks for everyone watching. I still got about 2 or 3 weeks of log burner videos coming. So, and there will be bits and bobs throughout the spring and summertime, no doubt about it. But we will be heading out the garden and getting a little bit more done out there, which I'm looking forward to really, because the sun's out. You know the score, sun's out, bums out. 2 or 3 videos a week, every week. And I'll see you in the next one. Pow!